Evening. Amidst a lot of situations going on in our political and economic landscape, I must say that it's a cold Sunday. So my first question to you this evening is, how are you, my beautiful people? How is your Sunday going, or how did your weekend go? And are you prepared ahead of tomorrow? Because at this moment, we don't know practically what tomorrow is going to be like in terms of if we'll be able to go to work, or if, we'll have to stay at home based on whatever conclusions we made as of this evening. Well, as you do know, the political spotlight takes place here every Sunday from 6:30 to 8:25 p.m. And what we do, we highlight major issues across our political landscape, which actually generated quite the conversation or the buzz in the course of a week. And one of the things that is quite unique about this particular program is the fact that we have guests or analysts who have their different professions give us their own point of view, break down some of these issues so we have a better comprehension of them, and then we can logically conclude or make our own decisions. And of course, it's an interactive program. We open the phone lines for you to actually tell us what you think based on the conversations that we have heard, and of course you get to give us your recommendations as well. I must always remind you that the reason why we have these conversations on this platform is not to blacklist the government, is not to defame the government, is not to slander anybody, but the important thing is for us to voice out most of this discontent, whatever it is the government is not doing right. Maybe they do not know. We must understand that they do not know everything. And so this programs gets to give them an opportunity to hear the plight of Nigerians, and possibly something is done. And we try to intellectually edify ourselves on some of these national issues, so we don't have conspiracy theories that are unsubstantiated flying all over the place. All right. Well, we stream on YouTube, so head on to YouTube and Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Subscribe. You can virtually be part of the conversation, and follow me as well on YouTube, Estiq Media, ESTIQMEDIA. Subscribe. We'll have quite a lot of interesting content for you there. Of course, on X is Esther Wachiku. That's Estiq Media on YouTube at Esther Wachiku. On Instagram is Esther Nwaz, ESTANWAZ, and on Facebook is at Esther Wachiku. So once again, welcome to the Political Spotlight. Before I go ahead with what we need to discuss today and a couple of issues that took place or transpired in the course of the week, I want to tell you that the National Assembly leadership, comprising the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, they have commenced a meeting with organized labor leaders, including the Nigerian Labour Congress President Joe Ajaro and Trade Union Congress President Festus Osifo in Abuja just this evening. Now, you do know that Labour has declared that tomorrow they'll be commencing the strike, and the strike will be indefinite. And most private sectors have actually corroborated and showed their support for it. And this is concerning the wage of labour from, they're asking for 494,000. As of the last time they met, it was a deadlock, and Labour was angry because there was no federal government representative. They didn't seem serious. Well, the chairman of the Senate and House Committee on Labour, Employment and Productivity, respectively, Diket Plank and Adegboyega Adefarati are also at the meeting. The meeting is also being attended by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, the Minister of National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, Minister of Labour, Head of Civil Service, among many others. The emergency meeting is aimed to persuade organized labour to cancel their planned strike, scheduled for Monday, June 3rd, 2024, over a new minimum wage and electricity tariff hike. The National Assembly sought to avert the impending industrial action to prevent severe repercussions on the populace and economy. So basically, at this moment, Labour is currently, trying to, or the federal government is trying to see how they can seduce Labour, curry their favor, so tomorrow doesn't commence. But I don't know. At the moment, the meeting is still ongoing. So as of 12 midnight today or 2 a.m. today, by then would know what the conclusion of the meeting will be all about. But we know that quite a lot happened in the week, and this particular situation with Labour did not just commence today. It's something that has culminated over time. Labour has declared to go on strike on several occasions, but at the end of the day, the federal government does this their whole last minute emergency meeting. They get to have a particular conversation, get to a particular conclusion, not a total conclusion, just something to avert that strike, and then before you know, another negotiation continues and it's been back and forth like that. So we don't know how this is going to be. We don't know if the Labour would stand their ground ahead of tomorrow. We don't know if the federal government will be able to get to a compromise with Labour. But however, at the moment, they're having a meeting. But then there was a press conference that was organized in the week when they had that particular deadlock. And let's listen to Festus Osifo, the TUC, and of course, NLC president as well, Chewacharo, what they disclosed at the press conference.
Declaring the commencement of a nationwide industrial action, a nationwide strike, effective from Monday, June 3rd, 2024. And this strike shall be indefinite, and this strike shall be on until we have a new national minimum wage, until government is serious and also the tariff increment in electricity is reversed. We are united on this. We believe that this is the way forward. We believe this is the time, as we have done over the years, to consistently stand with the working class of Nigeria, because they have been battered and they have been downtrodden the way it has been from May 29th till date.
We are not doing a strike that will be 1 month without bite. I don't know whether you understand.
Yes, I'm following.
I'm not sure where you have the labor centers in a country embarking on a strike for 1 month and you don't listen to them. You know, so I think what we should be praying for the people who are suffering so much, and those are some of our people. That was why we were reluctant. That was why we were virtually, telling them, let's find a solution. We in the meeting today, and we told them we have to be here and allow you to go and get mandate. We are ready to sleep here to allow you to get mandate to come back to this meeting. They say no, we should just allow them whenever they get mandate. That it is difficult to see even president, that they don't have access and all that. And then they didn't come out with it. We found ourselves in a helpless situation. So that is where we are now. So everybody should be patient with us while we embark on this.
Oh, well, that was quite an interesting one, but like I said, we don't know how tomorrow is going to turn out. Meanwhile, Tambuwal has actually, sent a message to President Tinubu telling him to tell his aides and ministers to stop blaming or castigating Buhari's government. Quite a lot of aides of the president have been trying to speak with Nigerians to kind of curry their empathy, to be patient with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that something is going to turn up positive very soon, that 1 year in office is too short a time for magic or miracles to occur, and that the previous administration, that is the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, was a very difficult one, and he inherited quite a terrible administration with, would I say, a basic death in the pulse of the national economy. So, they're begging Nigerians to understand or give the president that leverage, give him that leeway, and see how the next 2 years turns out. Well, the former governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Tambuwal, is urging the president to desist from dissociating himself from the tenure of his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari. Tambuwal insisted that Tinubu must stop his ministers and aides from castigating Buhari's administration. The former governor made this statement during a stakeholders meeting of the People's Democratic Party in Sokoto today. He argued that the All Progressives Congress has no plans to secure the country and are more interested in grabbing power. Tambuwal therefore also used the opportunity to speak with PDP supporters in the state that they should not be discouraged about the happenings in the country. Instead, they should unite and ensure political understanding amongst themselves. Yeah, that's one aspect. Of course, we do know that quite a lot of back and forth has been going on between the opposition political parties and, of course, the current party in government, which is the All Progressives Congress. So let's move on to the main crux of what transpired in the course of the week. May 30 was to celebrate Biafran Day, the Day of the Fallen Heroes, and I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to call it Bloody May 30 or 10th May 30. There's quite a lot of acronyms you can actually give it, but it wasn't as quiet and solemn as a lot of Nigerians expected it to be. Would I say chaos transpired and souls were lost, persons died in that particular day. Before then, though, on May 29, the new national anthem, I don't want to call it new national anthem because it was the old new national anthem. I really don't know how to describe this our country, Sha, but that's basically what transpired. So the old national anthem, which was written by a foreigner and was used for 18 years, is now being asked to be reused as our current national anthem. The Arise O compatriot has been asked to be put aside, and we've used that national anthem for almost 28 or 48 years. Let's just say more than 28 years we've been with that national anthem. I don't know if you're of my generation, the 1980s, basically that's the national anthem that we know. To start getting used to the previous national anthem, I think we have to start re-educating ourselves. So in order for us to re-educate ourselves, I'm going to be playing that supposed new/old/new national anthem, so maybe we can have a better understanding of what the national anthem is. But it's quite interesting though if you listen to it.
With their mouth.
Wow, that's actually nice. I actually like it. It has a nice ring. Barrister Joe Woket is in the house this evening. How are you? How are you, Barrister Joe?
I'm good.
You should be happy. I'm sure this was during your time when this wasn't it during your time you guys sang this. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
So you were the era of Arise O compatriots.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I think I like this national anthem. It's just me. Oh, nothing's wrong. But hey, the thing is,
for me, just long. It's just too long.
It's too long. Your own is the length of the national anthem, and not the wordings.
The wordings are like good.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. But hey, the question that arose from a lot of Nigerians is, why now? Is this the important thing for you to address? The president came to the National Assembly, and expediently, there was no conversation, there was no sitting, there was no deliberations. It was swiftly passed, and there are quite a lot of bills that have been on the table that has to do with the interests of Nigerians that have not been assented to. So I think that's basically where that drama came from.
You just wanted to give us something to talk about.
You think so?
Busy,
you see it as a distraction, right?
To keep us busy.
Wow.
And that's May 29th.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barrister John Woket is in the house. He's not been here with us for a very long time. He's a political, national, and social affairs commentator. And of course, he's one, would I say, well, he's a critic, a strong critic, and he's quite enthusiastic about things that has to do with the national politics. Barrister John Wakadi, good evening and welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening, our viewers. Good evening, everybody.
Barrister Joe, it was quite an unfortunate situation that occurred on May 30. 5 soldiers were killed in Aba, and when those soldiers died, Nigerians became worried, because we know what happens whenever something like that transpires. The army immediately takes over that entire community, and it's not funny what transpires afterwards. Nigerians get worried that when the military come, they don't do an objective assessment of the situation. They apprehend anybody at their disposal, and we've already known how the Southeast is. But what got a lot of Nigerians talking is the fact that there are complaints that there are so many military checkpoints when you're getting to the Southeast, specifically towards Imo, Enugu, and even Anambra. So you ask the question, are we in a war zone? Are we looking at a situation where that aspect is a different region cut out of Nigeria, that we have so many checkpoints? For example, Senator Baribe was one of the persons that spoke on being humiliated by soldiers at the checkpoint. Let me read out what he said. He said, he's a fourth senator, Ayana Baribe. He actually talked about the fact that the reports that circulated when he traveled to go bury one of his uncles or so, that there were soldiers along some checkpoints, and those soldiers actually embarrassed him by asking him to step down. They had to check, even after his escorts told them that he is a senator, and they declined. They did not pay attention to that. He had to come down. They checked him before they allowed him to go, and the report went out that he called Alex Oti, the governor of Aba, and the governor said that Abia, and that the governor said there is nothing he can do, that he doesn't want any issues. He just wants them to do what they have to do peacefully and go. But he's coming to debunk that report right now. I don't know what happened. I don't know who said anything to him or who threatened him. So he said that there is no element of truth in the report, which claimed that soldiers who were deployed after the killing of 5 soldiers in Aba by non-state actors delayed him at a checkpoint while returning from a burial in Obingwa last Thursday. And he made his statement today, which was through his aide, Uchenna Awom. He said instead that the soldiers were very professional and courteous in carrying out their responsibility, and he urged the members of the public to disregard news about him being delayed and approached in a disrespectful manner by the soldiers of the Nigerian army. Beyond that, though, we also saw a report on Punch of a woman who cried out, saying that her siblings were taken from her home early in the morning by soldiers, and they didn't tell her the location they were taking her siblings to, and she was crying that Nigerians should please help her. She doesn't know what to do. She's confused. She's asking that please the soldiers should not take her siblings away and all whatnot. A lot has also arisen from the fact that those non-state actors that came around, who were they? I remember calling somebody in Abia that particular day when that story, was all over the media, and the resident said he was not close to where that particular incident took place, but he also saw heard stories close to where he resides, that those individuals were not wearing anything or any signia that could indicate if they were IPOB or ESN. They were all wearing black, so there was nothing to indicate who they were. So the Nigerian military came out to give a press briefing, and they talked about the fact that this will be the last time any individual civilians will attack any soldier at any point in time. The president has also given an authoritative stance that the military should ensure that they flush out the perpetrators of that crime, meaning that he said IPOB can be crushed. The president said IPOB can be crushed. Now, the military gave a press statement. In the press statement, what makes it a little bit conflicting is the fact that the military spokesperson said the elements who killed those 5 soldiers, you cannot identify them. They didn't wear any of the normal, Biafran or uniform of ESN or whatever. So they're non-state actors whom are unidentified. But then you profile them as IPOB. I don't even understand what I'm saying. You came to a particular community to investigate what transpired on a certain day. You're supposed to ask questions, right? But you have already profiled them before you commence your investigation. Meanwhile, you described that these individuals were unmarked. There was no insignia to indicate.
And they've not come up to own.
Yeah, exactly. IPOB has distanced themselves. Nnamdi Kanu has distanced himself. In fact, Ohaneze Indibo, the president of Ohaneze Indibo, has said that Iwanyanwu has also declined being part of. In fact, Ima Powerful, the spokesperson of IPOB, said all they have only asked the southeastern states is, oh, please let us respect this particular day. The fallen heroes who fought for the individualism of the Southeasterners, let us respect this day. That is all. They didn't stop anybody from doing whatever they wanted to do. They just said, let us sit at home. And how can they be fighting for the sovereignty of the people and also put them in trouble? So my question is, who are these persons who claim that they are enforcing the sit at home? They didn't wear any insignia. Conspiracy theorists came on board that maybe because of the good works Alex Oti is already doing in Aba, that this is one of the ways through which some political opponents from whatever party would want to destabilize the peace that Aba is currently experiencing or the developmental strides. So my question is, what do you think?
For me, if any terrorist organization carries out such acts, they're always bold enough to claim responsibility.
Okay.
Like Boko Haram, like Hamas, like ISIS, all these terrorist organizations. They always want the credit to come to them. So I thought you become so afraid of them, or you know that they're active, they're engaging the government, or level of what they can do, or listen to them. Do you understand my point now? Or listen to the agitation, or know that they're on ground, that they can confront you. At least they want to pass a message. They don't just go and kill people and then hide their identity, run away from being acknowledged or being noticed. So what do you achieve? So you want to be known, you want to be feared, you want to be respected, you want to be recognized, you want people to feel your presence, that you have the capacity of unleashing men. So that's a sense of claiming responsibility. Even when they attack planes, they burn down planes or burn down some, even when they, what they call it, the one that brought down American Osama bin Laden did.
World Trade Center.
The World Trade Center. He claimed responsibility. So Americans should know who he is and how what he can do or what he group could do. Al-Qaeda. So they claim responsibility. So if you come and do something of that nature and you didn't claim responsibility, it is taken as you are not responsible.
Okay.
Because now even the unknown gunmen, we know how they used to dress.
Yes.
They didn't dress in that regalia. The IPOB has said they are not the one that actually directed them. Unless Nnamdi will say they are not the one. And in some places there were movements. Some states wrote the exams. Some states wrote the exams, which means it was not something that was enforced stricto sensu that it must. They have already made a system or strategy or mechanism or something on place that must enforce it. Because some places went about doing their businesses. Some students went about writing their exams in Enugu and Anambra and some other states in the east, and they didn't disturb them. So issue you raised, maybe some opponents might want to discredit the good works of LSOT and put them on a spotlight, negative spotlight. They might have done that because if it's actually done by IPOB, and people should know one thing, IPOB is in the open. Okay. The more powerful is their spokesman. They have their members, even though it was prescribed. But some of them are still bold enough to still claim membership of IPOB. They don't hide their activities. They don't. The more powerful is a person. They move around. They respond to issues. They interact. They're into conversations and other things. So it's not as if they're hiding. So they cannot do such a thing. Then they should know about this unknown government.
Okay.
Or Eastern Security Network. That is like a military wing of IPOB. Not can I say even IPOB? Because you have factions there.
All right.
You have this Simon Eba faction responsible for ESN.
All right.
The one that has been declared wanted by military and so many other agencies and parastars in Nigeria. They have IPOB members that were known even before Eba came on board as being peaceful, conducting their normal protests, carrying flags, moving around. I've encountered them severally. They will even hail you, ask you, are you for us? I've run into them one of these May 30th celebration. I went to I was driving home. I didn't know it was even May 30th. And I ran into them somewhere. They just asked me, are you for us? I said, I'm in Lagos. I said, when you get there, speak on our behalf and let them know what we're passing through here. Okay. That was one thing they told me. And they even cleared the road for me to pass.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
They cleared the road for me to pass until I go to a family house at Onisha. I packed. I didn't have a mind of going that day because I need to leave early in the morning. So because I left my village a little bit late. We got to Onisha, we packed. I saw them in many places. They allowed me to go. Okay. So when I saw their procession, they would just ask me, I will introduce myself, what I do. I said, okay, no problem. But since you are a media person, please speak good of us whenever you go for your media outings. We got there, we slept early in the morning, we took off to Lagos. So, when you now talk of people, and people were moving about.
But Barbara,
so
before
I'm saying,
okay, before
I'm saying in the sense that we cannot pin it to IPOB.
That's why I said I
and you have to do your due investigation. And the one thing I may always do, army people should be very, very careful. They are losing their credibility and invincibility. I know what it means when we are growing up. Before you see an army man, how we regard them, how we respect them. But they are trying to trivialize everything military now. To listen that some riffraffs are getting the courage to challenge the military because of the way they carry themselves. So they should review the operational mode.
Saying see finish, don't enter.
Yes, see finish, don't enter. They should review their means of engagement. Okay, once something happens, they'll come and start shooting aside, shooting everybody, carrying everybody, killing the whole village. What happened in Okwama, opening fire on innocent people. Is that how to engage? You are in intelligence gathering. You are a military professional. You work with other parastatal, DSS people are there, police people are there. So engage with these people. Get your intelligence reports, gather information, strike and know you are striking at the right point, and know what you're supposed to do.
Because we have quite a lot of issues I want us to actually address.
It's very embarrassing.
Let's look at this thing now. A lot of critics who have actually tried to really in-depthly look into this matter. I remember having an interview with Barrister Fred Nzako on Friday evening on the World News at 6, and he was able to give us some insight into some conspiracy theories that we did not think of immediately that particular incident happened. Barrister Fred Nzako said these particular soldiers who were killed, they were not just possibly non-indigenes of that particular community. These are Igbo men. For example, let me read out their names. The soldiers who were killed were Sergeant Charles Ugochukwu, Sergeant Bala Abraham, Corporal Gideon Egwe, Ikpeama Ikechukwu, Augustine Emmanuel. So apparently these soldiers, most of them that were killed were Igbos. So if you claim that
and even from Abia State,
and they're from the state. So if you claim that these individuals, according to you, according to these supposed men who are unidentifiable, you claim that you're enforcing sit at home for the benefit of your own people, do you go and kill your person at the back? The military men they said they were ambushed. They weren't expecting those guys in the SUV to come in. So how do you go kill your own people? That's what brings the question to the front burner, that how can IPOB kill its own people? How can IPOB, who is saying they are fighting for the sovereignty and they're fighting for the economic stabilization of their region, be the persons to deteriorate the economic situation within the southeastern regions or destabilize the polity within the southeastern region, considering how much they have suffered in that region? So a lot of persons have a different perspective. I want to play one of the interviews that was taken on, I think, Arise Television, where one of the youth speakers had to give a different theory or a different perception to what a lot of us think. This time around, he's alleging that those supposed unidentified persons could be Simon Ekpa's men. Let's just listen to him.
Most cowardly acts that has been carried out recently. It's quite sad because it's like 1 year down the line, we still have the security challenges. But what bothers me here is that they came in 3 tinted SUVs, Prado. Everybody knows how much a Prado cost. That should tell you how much these people are, how they're being funded. While the 3 SUVs we are approaching, they also had ground support. So there was failure of intelligence, because that would be a Kaba's junction, Bingwa local government area where this attack took place. I heard the junction is a wide junction that they could have been able to tell. And when you see 3 SUVs coming at the time when you have talked about sit at home, I thought there should have been more of intelligence. As sad as it is, but it was a surprise attack. And at this point in time, the National Intelligence Agency have to sit up, because Simon Ekpa is becoming more of a clog in the wheel of progress for the 5 southeastern states. We have, some of us have said that holding down the Nnamdi Kanu has been negative, because it has given cause to raise a Simon Ekpa who is not preaching the same sermon as Nnamdi Kanu was preaching, who is preaching violence. He's in Finland. I wonder what the Nigerian embassy in Finland is doing and the Nigerian foreign minister is doing at this material point in time. He goes on Twitter, he calls out these violent acts, he goes on propaganda, he says he's carrying out referendum and they have been 30 million votes. apparently this attack was not done by IPOB. This was done by Simon Ekpa's boys, and he probably posted it on Twitter. If you notice, he has been number one on the tweet on trends for some time now on Twitter, and he's enjoying all the media attention, and you know, that gathers him more support, gathers him more finances, and these are the finances that he's using. You know, he actually does empowerment programs. Simon Ekpa, he sends funds to these people who actually also see him in the quest of being a benefactor. So the government has to do something about it. Yes, if not, the Southeast is going to continue to be a war theater. And one thing I must also point out,
briefly,
the military says they're going to go after them, but this is a guerrilla warfare. It's quite difficult to get people in a guerrilla.
All right, so you heard. Do you think that this is the handwork of Simon Ekpa? According to him, Simon Ekpa is being sponsored by some elements. We don't know if they're internal or external. And that Simon Ekpa took the responsibility, took it upon himself to say he was the one who sent those men. Nnamdi Kanu has distanced himself, you know, from any activity whatsoever that will put the Southeast in trouble. It means he has distanced himself from whatever it is Simon Ekpa is doing. So the question is, if Simon Ekpa claims that he's also fighting, just like Nnamdi Kanu says he's fighting for the freedom of the Southeasterners, why would you send your men to do all of this and then put your supposed Southeastern state under scrutiny? I mean, do you think what this man is saying is true? That
has been where everybody is disagreeing with Simon Ekpa's strategy or mode of engagement regarding this Biafran struggle. He has always turned his sword against people of Southeast, inside Southeast. There was time he almost overran Anambra State.
All right.
Before this current governor took it upon himself to clear people from the bushes and so many other places.
Okay.
Even some towns are still like Ihiala, some states in Anambra, Lilu, are still not yet fully liberated because of activities of Simon Ekpa's people. You know, the origin of this is Nnamdi Kanu is like in charge of the whole IPOB.
All right.
The leadership structure.
Yes.
He's like the head of IPOB. Then Simon Ekpa from the beginning was head of military arm.
Okay.
So when the soldiers carried out Operation Python dance, IPOB as a structure never wanted to have anything like military arm of it.
Okay.
But after that Operation Python dance, that they now killed so many of their unprotected members who are doing normal, procession without arms, without anything. There was this thought that we need to like protect ourselves against such attacks, maybe subsequently going forward.
Okay.
And that was where Simon Ekpa came in. I remember there was time IPOB said they want to launch ESN.
Yes.
ESN was actually officially launched. One, to protect themselves, and two, to ward against Fulani herdsmen.
All right.
They were like almost overrunning the whole southern Nigeria. That made even from late governor of Ondo State to even form Moteko and whatever, called governor meeting of southern governors. I mean, Akeredolu and the rest of them. So the wind has also blew, and these boys now, when the eastern governors failed to act when they're supposed to act by creating a bagu or regional security outfit that will guide you have attacks in Enugu, herdsmen in Enugu and Agatu and so many other places. So it was coming closer home. People that were having forests around them in the east, they couldn't feel safe again, especially in the thick of Buhari's tenure, when these guys had a kind of advantages within the military hierarchy or whatever, whenever they carry any, he not act anyway. So when the leadership of the Southeast failed to act swiftly by creating some maybe security apparatus to guide these people, IPOB took advantage of that and launched ESN.
Oh, so which was their own security network.
And they enjoy the support of the people, because when people are facing dire situations, whatever solution will come from, they don't mind whether it will have aftermath effects of that, but they want solution to that immediate problem. Just like when Banjo launched Bakassi in Anambra, even though it was illegal and lawful, but people wanted to be secured at Onisha at all costs.
Okay.
And Banjo came with Bakassi. Nobody cared to know whether they are legal, they have legal backup or not. So when this year they launched this ESN, people of Southeast welcomed it. But now they have turned into a monster. But after that, Nnamdi Kanu also wanted him to go back, go back to Yoshe. But then Simon Ekpa, the story had it that Simon Ekpa, he's a trained military man.
Yes.
He was the commander of the military wing of IPOB.
Wow.
Now he's not even receiving instruction from Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is no longer free. So Nnamdi
He's
Kanu can no longer
incarcerated.
control him. He now builds his own structure, his own, and he's responsible for equipping all these guys by training, by how to use arms and everything. And it has become so wide. And it seems like somebody that has no conscience, has no feelings and whatever. You are killing your people, unleashing mayhem and everything. It doesn't
But he
concern
seems
you.
to have garnered support,
But
regardless of what you say. A lot of people support
there
what
are
he's
some
doing.
people in diaspora that are remitting funds. I don't know how, some of them, to be honest with you, they are using all these mayhems to get their green passport, to get their stay in abroad fortified.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wait,
I've encountered that.
wait. I need you to explain this
Yes.
conspiracy theory.
Okay.
They deliberately create chaos in the southeast
Yes.
so that they will use it as evidence to stay abroad.
Yes, when they go to
Wow.
fortify why they ran away from southeast, like this thing that happened in Abia States now, a lot of people will use it to build up their papers for them to go get asylum.
Wow.
Yes, my chamber has actually witnessed one. So this is real. It was something that happened. I don't want to mention it. That happened. That so many of them came to package this story for us and send it so we can use it to get our passport, our green card.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
It happens. I've actually witnessed it.
But why would you sabotage the serenity of your home states for personal
like this
gains?
incident now, it will be like a kind of global news.
Okay.
So many countries will hear about what happened. So they to prove that the eastern Nigeria is not safe. So they can build up their stories of why they ran away.
Wow.
Nigerian governments, after even when they were doing normal protests, like to remember those that were killed during war, they even launched attack on them and this and that. And the news will already have it. They put in the net and you see it. So not as if they are lying. So some of them that are into that, they also support. This kind someone with all this kind of crisis in the southeast to prove the southeast is not conducive. That was why they ran away, looking for asylum in foreign lands.
So are we saying that our own people could be sabotaging their people for personal gains?
I don't want to go into detail, but I'm telling you,
it will be disastrous at this moment.
To the roots of these things. What I'm telling you, most people looking for how to perfect their documents, papers abroad. You must tell the foreign country why you left your country. You must
And the reason is to be compelling.
Yes, must be compelling why they should grant you asylum and accept you to stay there. You can't just do it when you don't have something cogent that made you to run away. They won't allow you. You cannot give you green papers to stay. I'm just saying this. Secondly, it's also a theory against the progress and success of Southeast. Because before this insecurity began to
gain
unfold
momentum
in Southeast, Southeast was the only very, very peaceful region where you don't have all these you don't have militancy, you don't have Boko Haram, you don't have herdsmen, you don't have any kind of insecurity.
We have Minister of Enjoyment in Imo States now.
Yes, but now they have discovered that this might be like the next business investment destination because of how peaceful this place is. So there is a conspiracy theory also that some of these people carrying out these heinous acts are being sponsored by some elements from the federal government.
Wow.
And to prove that, Asarido Kubo said that he was working with federal government in some security issues in some states.
Is that how Fulani herdsmen gained entrance into these communities?
And Asarido mentioned South is a part of where he was, and mentioned Plateau where he was assisting federal. We were like, how?
He said he was providing security.
Yes, how? How are you providing security for federal? Are you the military? Are you a military person? These are mercenaries they might use to come and cause destabilization one or two places, and then come in to say something happened there, kill people, or put that place on a bad light.
So how did the Fulani herdsmen gain entrance into some of the southeastern communities? Because
it is not difficult. Nigeria is a sovereign nation. You can't stop just like the way you are in Lagos. Just like the way somebody. Last time I went to Abuja, I went to a place they call Wuye to go and eat Yoruba food. All this Samal and the wedding and whatever. You see, I see a good number of people from the south. Yoruba food. I went there. There's so many of Amala joints in Abuja for Yorubas. As it's not Nigeria. Actually, you go there to eat some of their food there, Whereas when I'm in Abuja, if I come to Lagos, unfortunately, I don't eat it here. But once I travel to Abuja, I'll go and eat it. They will join from Lagos. I say, funny enough, I don't eat this food in Lagos, but I eat it whenever I go to Abuja. If you go to Plateau, you see, this is Nigeria. People can travel to any place they want and do not question their presence there. So if Fulanis are bringing cows, Fulani people travel all over the whole Nigeria. As far as you have meat, cow meat in your locality. Fulanis are around you. They are around your market. You know, so they are there. So in the night they can. Some of them will be, and they move their cows inside the bush where they give green pastures to feed them. So in course of doing that, they can dominate your bush.
So what this particular, current affairs analyst, his name is Kenny Okolubo. This was an interview he had with Arise Television when we're talking about the whole situation in Aba and Anambra. You know, in Anambra, the Nigerian police demobilized one of the sit-at-home enforcers, and then 3 of them escaped. They said they were going to try to apprehend these ones.
Sit-at-home should not have enforcers. I've always told them. During time of Wazulike, I was either in secondary school or university then. Wazulike called for sit-at-home. We all complied. Me, I willingly complied. All the markets, nobody went out, and he didn't use any gun, not even a stick, not even ordinary anything. We just like there would be a sit at home and say, for us to like say what is happening to Nigeria against the start is we don't want it after the war. The 3R, they said what they call it, reconstruction, rehabilitation, whatever. They're not implemented anymore. To call the attention of federal government that we are not happy with things going on in Nigeria, that we should sit at. We sat at home, willing, even in the university. We didn't go for lectures. Nobody forced us. We didn't go for lectures that day. No lecture took place in Western Nigeria where I went, but nobody forced us. Nobody drove into school to tell us you must not go for lectures. It was just like there was order that we should not go, for the world to hear our voice and know that, look, we are not happy with things happen. That is how it should be. The moment you lose, you lose the consciousness of the people, the support of the people in any struggle. Just go and redesign your mode of oppression that you are failing. You don't need to have people to go about enforcing sit at home. If actually you are fighting, see, I was actually into leadership positions in school. If people don't want you to lead them, just know they don't want you, leave. You don't impose yourself on the people. If they don't want, you go by what people want. See, if they don't want to go for,
but Barrister, a couple of netizens or critics may actually dispute some of the things you're saying. They will say, for example, if the enforcers don't enforce it, people may not respect.
Are you not doing it for the people? They don't want it now.
People would not respect the sacredness of that day. That, for example, they said the whole June 12 being officially declared as Democracy Day was because the Afenifere or the Yoruba nation had always clamored that, you know, Abiola should be respected.
Well,
the June 12, 1993 elections. They kept on clamoring for it. They kept on clamoring.
And brought the consciousness on the people.
So what now? Some supposed supporters of what happened or what's going on in the Southeast say that if they do not do this, the federal government may not see the importance of this particular day and make it an official one.
It is not true. Okay. For me, I wholeheartedly disagree with that logic. It's not true. I've been in Lagos for a couple of years now. There was never a day they enforced June 12. If you want to make May 30th, even there was, I think last 2 years or whatever, Governor of Delta State Tokowa declared that the public holiday in Delta. And when they were, the whole Delta is not like Biafra. He said he lost an uncle or whatever during that war. Those that will comply with it should not come to work. Those that don't want to comply should come to work. I had defined Yokowa vividly. Nobody pointed gun at him as a governor. He said he lost his uncle or whatever in that war. So he's emotionally attached to that date. So those that want to like abide, comply with that directive, those that don't want to should go to work. And those that people eventually Delta State didn't go to work because it is an emotional thing. If you package it in a way to have emotional, like in June 12, you know how they did June 12?
Yes.
They will have lectures. I was invited to deliver a lecture one of the June 12. Yoruba youth, whatever, our Bamiji is my friend. One of the June 12, even though I'm not a Yoruba person, I was invited to deliver lecture, and I went there. I delivered lecture on Abiola and the prospect of that June 12 and significance of that June 12 to Nigeria. I'm a Yoruba person, but because they want to give it an intellectual flavor. If the people want to make May 30th to be like a day that will be attractive, fixed lectures, fixed symposiums on that day. Just my point. Yeah. Talk about the Biafran soldiers, sacrifices they made, the aftermath of that, the way forward, how to reconstruct Southeast and everything, how to build on that incident and what took place. States will have activities. They will have symposium. Then people will know where people will go for seminar and workshop and other things on that day. You create events around. That's how they did for June 12.
So we say now that the method at which the whole sit at home is being conducted is wrong. wrong. It may not. It may not move the hand of the federal government to do what needs to be done.
Authorization in Enugu with stakeholders present and call for speakers on that day, reminiscence about the war, what transpired during the war, the lessons to be learned, how to move forward, build a federal land. Just at my point.
Yes.
Get all these things in states. People will go for symposiums and everything to become academic in nature. Not that you make it the look at something like touts. Somebody will be somewhere telling people to go out, go to inside their house and do what? And eat food. What do they benefit for sitting at home now? Information you didn't give them, education you didn't give them, what transpired in that war you didn't give them, history of that war you didn't even give them. So what are they sitting at home? You now fly propaganda of what might even destroy them or how they relate with other people, other components, other people from other parts of Nigeria, and then make yourself to become a full victim. You don't even tell them what caused the war, what led to the war.
I'm being joined.
They'll learn from there.
Barrister, Mr. Elvis Elimihele, he is a journalist, a political and social affairs commentator, is joining us via the telephone. Mr. Elvis Elimihele, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the Political Spotlight. How are you today?
Good evening, Esther. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you for joining us today. Mr. Elvis, quite a lot is being talked about. One of them in the front burner is the situation that happened in Aba, Abia State at the seated home. Barrister John Wokedi has actually been giving us several aspects through which the situation could have been handled better, and possibly some conspiracy theories which most of us had not actually considered. For one of the analyst that arrived on that was on Arise television, he actually said that this particular individual, Simon Ekpa, is one who could be the person behind what happened. He actually said it, that he's the one behind what happened in Aba. And according to him, he said that Simon Ekpa is being sponsored by some elements. And again, the military has come into Aba to make their own investigations. However, they described that it was IPOB. But when the military spokesperson was addressing the press, he said these persons were, unidentified. They didn't have any insignia, but they had profiled the persons who did what happened as IPOB members. And Simon Ekpa is saying that it was his persons that did so. So the question is, do you think that the way it went, especially for the fact that a couple of netizens and critics are saying Simon Ekpa is going about this whole IPOB situation in a hostile way and putting the persons in the southeast in more trouble? I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, really, I can't understand the conflict between Samuel Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu in this matter. I can't understand the conflict.
We're not putting both of them together. Samuel Ekpa is doing his own thing. Nnamdi Kanu is still the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra.
Yes, but both of them are under the umbrella of IPOB. That's,
okay.
That's the area I'm coming from, Esther. If really they are talking about,
I'm not sure someone
freedom for
IPOB again. No.
You don't think so?
I'm not sure he's still professing IPOB in anything he's saying.
Mr. Elvis, please continue.
Well, I've not heard of any other organization that is aligned to, but we believe that they are still talking about IPOB there. But I knew they have fracas some time ago. That's why I'm saying I cannot understand the relationship between him and Nnamdi Kanu. That's why I began with that, because I knew there were some fracas, but I have not heard that he has another group or whichever name. But however, the area we are concerned about this evening is the crisis that they are trying to bring to Abia State with the killing of the military officers. That's where the soldiers, that's where we are really concerned with. First of all, that killing is condemnable.
Very.
In all ramification, killing of those soldiers is condemnable. Nobody, good reasoning Nigerian will support such gruesome killing. The area we want to look at, why Aba, for the eastern states, why Aba? I'm looking at that area because Abia has relatively peaceful regarding IPOB activity.
Okay.
Abia has been peaceful, and recently we have seen Aba, in the limelight, trying to, if not really, the commercial hub center for the eastern states. With the recent developments that we've seen in Aba, and with the relative peace Abia has had over the years, then why May 30th now Aba has suddenly come to the limelight in a very negative manner, that it has now turned to, a grant for killing of Nigeria soldiers? So I am not comfortable with that Aba incident. So I think the political actors in the eastern states of Nigeria should actually look at what is going on. Aba should be allowed to thrive as the commercial capital of the eastern region, as it has turned out to be. I mean, for some months now that they started enjoying some of the facilities and amenities that the present governor, Alex Otti, have been able to put in place. Then the area again we should look at, what is the support of the political leaders, eastern political leaders, in all these activities that we have that is going on. Okay, they declared 30th of February as a kind of remembrance day for the heroes that died during the Biafra regime and all that. Okay, good. If that is it unanimously agreed on by all the 5 eastern states, political leadership and their governors? Is it agreed on? If it is not agreed on, what other sensitive measure have they used over the time to sensitize these people, like an advocacy for them to understand that this day is important to us and we want it, to be declared as a kind of public holiday or whatever. We have seen public holidays in Nigeria now. We have even seen June 12. June 12 have become public holiday. And another 1 week from a week plus from now, we'll be celebrating another public holiday as a result of June 12.
Democracy Day now.
That's the official democracy day now in Nigeria. Some years ago, Esther, when you are approaching June 12 like this, there will be kind of mayhem. There will be apprehension in Nigeria in 1994, 1995, and all that. I still remember when we were in school. June 12 was something else. I even remember the year I went to NYC camp. Our orientation camp, opening of the camp was shifted, out of June 12. We were supposed to be in camp by 11th, but because of June 12, they said no, we'll be in camp by 13th that year, because they just want the activity of June 12 to go. So if we have honored such days in Nigeria, by granting public holiday and recognize, then all the political actors, political leaders of the eastern state should also align with IPOB. If it's a day that and find a way to also bring this before the federal government.
The president has spoken in regards to what happened in Delta State. In fact, he declared that security forces would leave no stone unturned in ensuring the killers of the 5 soldiers in Aba are brought to justice. The president made that declaration on Saturday, in which he reacted to the killings. And you do know that, again, the profiling, attributing what transpired that day to IPOB, when these individuals did not wear any insignia. So the profiling is already the fact that, it was IPOB that conducted it, despite the fact that IPOB has distanced themselves from what happened. They said they would definitely not be involved in that, and they actually said there are some political elements who are trying to sabotage the effort or the work of IPOB in ensuring that the Southeast becomes a basic hub for investment or for whatever cause that the indigenous people of Biafra are actually fighting for. So according to the president, he said the slain soldiers do not deserve the mindless attack which resulted in their death, and the government will come down heavily against non-state actors and unruly elements who have made killing security forces a way of life, and that the government has capacity to deal with the perpetrators and therefore order the security forces to fish out those perpetrators of the attack. The president also described IPOB as a terrorist organization, ordered security forces to go against those calling on people to stay at home as their action is a treasonable offense. I want to read out the president's statement so it doesn't seem as if we are summarizing his statement. He said, I have received yet another disheartening news of the killing of 5 soldiers by suspected militants of the proscribed terrorist organization IPOB. The slain soldiers were in peacekeeping duty in Abia State on Thursday when they were murdered, just 2 months after a similar tragic incident happened in Okwama in Delta State. These unwarranted, barbaric and evil acts stand condemned and should never be condoned and tolerated in our country. Our soldiers and the police have the onerous duty to protect all of us from aggressors and non-state actors. Hundreds of them have paid the ultimate price in fulfillment of their duty, while some have experienced the indignity of being manhandled by the people they protect. So they do not deserve the mindless attacks by unruly elements in our society. The federal government will come down heavily against those who have made it a habit to needlessly attack the officers and men of our armed forces. On no account should anyone under any guise have the audacity to kill agents of the state. And I want to make it clear that the federal government of Nigeria and the armed forces have the capacity to crush violent non-state actors making our communities unsafe. So it was quite a lot that the president, talked about. But the thing is, the persons, or rather these individuals who conducted this tedious and annoying act, this dastardly act, have been profiled as IPOB members. IPOB has distanced themselves that they are not the ones. So who were the persons that went and killed those soldiers? Soldiers who are of southeastern origin. Then it's just only one of them that is from the north, but most of them that they killed were from southeast origin. So if already they are profiled as IPOB non-state actors, the president has said they have the capacity to crush. How do we know that the military men there would objectively carry out their duty to ensure that they get the perpetrators and not manhandle innocent citizens in their quest to conclude the investigation and get out of there?
Yeah, the statement from the president is not something that we should undermine this time, but the hasty nature of concluding that it's IPOB is the only area I'm not comfortable with. Yes, let there be investigation, and the president should not come up with a statement that will make two wrongs. Two wrongs cannot make a right. If the military is not coming up with appropriate investigation and swinging into action, many innocent persons who are not even part of this we suffer the penalty. We saw what happened in Okwama that day, and which is still lingering. So many people were displaced, So such thing must not happen in Aba. I want the military authority, to work with the IPOB that have distanced themselves from this. Let's see if there are a third party that is involved in these activities, just to destabilize Aba and bring the bad name on the head of IPOB. That's where IPOB should come up and play a very good role with the federal government in fishing out these elements who constituted themselves in coming out, executing this crime against the Nigeria armed forces, the military. So the president must, caution the soldiers, let there be proper investigation to get those people fished out. Work in tandem with IPOB to get these people. Yes, they should, because this conclusion that it is IPOB, and IPOB have said they are not the one that is involved. There's a conflicting issue there. So there must be an investigation that will lead to who are the actual perpetrators, who is their sponsor, whose camp are they coming from, under what guise and what under what name, and who are the leadership of this. Because, like you mentioned, Esther, I already some profile of the soldiers that were killed. Yes. They're mostly Southeasterners. And these are people that you are even saying you are protecting their interests. You are killing your brothers, and at the end of the day, even if you are fighting a just cause and it is granted for you, these ones that are dead, they will not be part of those that will enjoy it anymore. Okay. So these are some of the reasons why every party that is involved in this matter should tread softly, so that at the end of the day, we will not bite the nose, the eye to bite the nose. Let everybody that is involved play a diligent role, so that this crisis will not escalate, into where Aba, that where the governor is trying to attract foreign investors into, will not be an area where people will be running from. Okay. Because this news, as we are talking about it here, Esther, is all over the world. We are talking to the internet, and people who have that mind of coming to invest in Aba and hearing that insecurity has pervaded all the environment of Aba will be scared. So we have to play a role. The governor have done his own part. He has placed a booty, 25 million, for those that to help him unravel those people that are involved. That's a good one. Okay. But the federal government should also work with relevant authorities to get the investigation, so that innocent people will not be killed for that. We heard that about 6 other civilians were also killed. Also killed. Yes, in this matter, these civilians that are killed,
that's why I was asking the question. That's why there's a lot to actually consider in this whole thing.
Conspiracy.
Yes, there's a conspiracy going on somewhere. These are Southeasterners. They're your own people. You also kill civilians, and you are profiling that it's IPOB, and IPOB is fighting for the individualism of their people.
Those that actually perpetrate that crime, where did they disappear into?
And how do you know they're going to apprehend them now?
Where did they disappear into? Because I always ask the question, whenever there is a serious suspicion, whenever a crime is committed, my suspicion is always, where did they go to after committing that crime? Because when there were these random killings in Benue and Plateau, you see 300 people, 400 people invade a village. Within 2 hours, they disappear into the thin air. Okay. Where did they go in goods? Because three Prado jeeps, it's not something you can move on the road without being spotted.
An SUV black.
SUV black. People must see them. Security checkpoints must see them. Police people around must see them. And I mean, if they enter into a hotel, satellite will see them. They must have disappeared into somewhere. That's always where we always suspect that there is something external forces behind this. Because the only place that can contain people, the only place that can contain people that perpetrated this crime and disappear into the thin air is the barracks, military barracks.
Really?
Yes, military barracks. That's always where these people come from to perpetrate this kind of crimes and disappear into the thin air. The moment they drive in, they change their clothes, go back to their barracks, disappear into their rooms, you not see them again.
Wow.
Yes, because ordinary civilian. I'm a lawyer, we work with SARS and whatever. You can't come, you know, when there was one man here that is the head of Ajawo that made one comment about, they spotted him in one hotel inside the Ejibo. They followed him up because he moved with a car.
Is it not Eze?
Yes, Ejibo. He drove out, he moved out, they monitored him, they saw when he was driving, people saw a car, and whatever, they got him. But how can 3 SUVs, did they disappear into a hotel? Did they go into a village? Did they just commit the crime, park their cars there, disappear into another car, abandon the jeeps? The jeeps were not abandoned. They were not abandoned anywhere. They couldn't see those Prado jeeps anywhere being abandoned. So they drove to where they drove in and they disappeared. So for me, like my brother here, Elvis said, Abia State is growing. It's a growing
now.
Investment.
It's the main talk. The main state that is on the front burner.
And I always say something about South. There's so many conspiracies against Southeast people. I told somebody one day, the time one top actor died in Asaba, he said, why didn't they go to Abia? I said, why wouldn't they go to Delta states? I said, why can't they start building other states? Because since some people are not comfortable with some people from Southeast doing certain things in their own state or their own domain. I think it's time that people from Southeast should go back and build a city worthy of, accommodating their people, their drive, their businesses, their technology, their passion, that whatever they have. So whenever they want to leave Southeast, they are living out of choice, not out of survival. I said, when I discovered that most of the Hollywood and Nollywood have actually relocated to Delta State, I was so happy. Let them build up Asaba and build up that place and stay there. Not that all of them must come to Lagos because they'll get their greener pasture before they find something to do. Like Aba is also coming up, and I said, let Aba come up and absorb some of the boys. Instead of coming to Lagos or the north, let them stay there and a living. And now I asked him, why are you angry that Asaba is growing like that? So why are you angry? But so for me, I don't understand Nigeria. Sometimes I used to sit down to study this country. Aba is growing up now. You may see some people that may want to sabotage it. Yet they will still tell you that Eastern people don't want to develop their place. They don't want to grow the economy. They always want to travel around. So the governor should also institute his own independent investigation into what happened in his states.
But let me ask you something.
And the military also. All this Yokohama, whatever.
Let me ask you something.
No, let me say it. That's method of unleashing mayhem on a village, has it helped anything? Because the perpetrators will be somewhere laughing at you. By the time you are cleaning up people, they are laughing. You couldn't get them, so they will still go and replicate such a thing somewhere else because they know they will do it and they will disappear, and you go and kill innocent people. So you cannot get them. But the moment you begin to get the real perpetrators punished, the message will be sent that you cannot kill a military man and go free. That army will get you. That army will go and get a village, go and get a locality.
Which brings us to the question now. This is where a lot of Nigerians are reacting, especially, Southeasterners, that this whole thing affected. They say the Nigerian government or the Nigerian military is quick to react, quick to impose themselves in the Southeast when there is any problem. But that in the north or in the north central, where Boko Haram has been thriving for years, where they've ransacked communities, pillaged and all whatnot, they've even killed a lot of military men, ambushed them, taken over their vehicle, taken over their arms, but that the military has not gone to the north or any community there to raise down those places, to burn houses. rather they don't even say anything afterwards. We just hear that, okay, there is an emergency meeting being drafted to investigate what happened in a particular state. One of that example is Plateau State. You know, Bokos, Mangu. In fact, just last week too, another community in Plateau State was ransacked. In fact, you know that ISWAP wrote a letter to those communities asking them to evacuate, meaning that already the military intelligence or the defense arm already has an idea that this is what is going on, and these guys will go and brazenly carry out these attacks. But that the response of the military when this thing happens is usually very laid back. So that's what brings the whole imbalance as to the method of swift justice, or I don't want to use the word swift justice, the accelerated measure being enacted by the Nigerian military when it comes to what happens in the southeast and in the north.
We look at the whole, structure of Nigeria as being defective and biased. They're always quick to react to things that happen in the south.
Okay.
Either southeast or south.
All right.
Then what happens in the north. I remember in Niger State or whatever, they killed 5 soldiers up to 1 month now, and nothing has been done. Nothing has actually ever happened regarding that issue. They kept mute. I don't know, because they have commensurate capacity of attacking again. Let me even tell you, this happened in Abia State. Even the soldiers in the east, let me be honest, they are becoming scared.
The soldiers in the east?
Yes. If it was to be the when east was they saw eastern Nigeria before as people that are so much afraid of spilling blood. To be honest with you, it was one killing that made Bakassi that countered. Eastern Nigeria is any place you can spill blood. You can do whatever, they will not counter it. They don't kill people. They were not known for spilling blood. I think there was riot that broke out in the north that they killed so many people from the east, and they killed people in Abia State, killed in Imo State, killed in rivers, and carried their corpses and scattered everywhere. That was why when riots broke out in the north, you don't see people killing people in the east, in the north again now. After that massacre, they killed so many people. It was original Bakassi, they murdered up to Port Harcourt. Murdered so many people from the north, killed. That was when they now know that eastern people can kill.
Okay.
Before that time, it is taken that eastern people don't spill blood. The military people knew that all this ESN, they have capacity to unleash mayhem now. I'm not saying it. They know they cannot easily enter a village and slaughter. If they do, they'll have counter. They'll kill so many military people. They have their. I said it before. Sanusi even said it. That be careful with Igbos. They handle technology so much that they can redesign a gun. You can sell a gun to them. They will check that gun and redesign it and use that gun in a way they don't know the content of that gun. That the very moment they'll start carrying gun, the Nigeria might be in trouble. That we should not allow them to carry gun. They don't carry guns. They should not carry it. That the very moment the Nigeria will provoke them and make them to start carrying guns. That they will use that gun in a way that they can learn facilities in a gun within 2 days. That may take others 3 months to learn. They handle materials and parts and other things. So many people cannot. Let me even tell. They cannot unleash mayhem in Abia State. They can't do that.
So the governor is actually cooperating.
They know that. That's what they're saying. They know that those boys, those people that carried this attack, kill soldiers and disappeared, they are not just like ordinary people. They have well trained. The problem they have that they hardly had well organized, like Niger Delta militants or whatever, like Boko Haram, whatever in the north. They don't have, like OPC in the southwest. They don't have it in the east. But this IPOB actually from nowhere raised such people. So they have capacity of countering attacks. So military declares war on them. They also blow like Boko Haram and start ambushing military here and there, start killing them. And military is no longer what they used to be. Like I said, it used to be prayer before. Now people hear military this and they were invincible. They can never. But now people engage them. These boys, let me even tell you one thing. They have access to bigger guns. Nigerian government is a very, very corrupt organization. They don't give military men sophisticated weapons. If they map out money to buy sophisticated weapons, they will embezzle the money and give them ancient AK-47. These guys are coming with latest model AK for bigger ones.
So who is letting them have such access to those arms?
They do exchange in the high sea. I did my investigation.
Through the border?
Through the borders and the seas in the Bayelsa kind of place. The people from the foreign people, foreign machineries bring in that guns for them. They exchange it in the sea. They move in their speedboats. Those guys will be on the high sea. They exchange it and bring it in. Because I was asking for how are they bringing these guns? Somebody now told me that, look, they do that on the top of the sea. They don't need to bring it into Nigeria. That's where they signal these guys. They move with their speedboats in the middle of the sea.
They do all their exchange.
They do all the exchange or whatever.
Do you know that the governor said that a local government chairman in the north collected 700,000 naira from one of the band
to allow them to come in
and do what they do.
And it's also part of what we said. He said by the time these guys will start carrying arms, they'll start bringing guns through the sea. They have access to the sea, and the Nigerian government may not control the inflow of arms. They'll bring in arms through the sea, and now they're doing it. So the Nigerian government should sit up. They should sit up. All this constituted authority, not because if they actually budget money and use it.
We have a Nigerian intelligence agency. This same intelligence agency that was able to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. They did a covert operation. They did a covert operation. That was a very high-skilled intelligence method, and they brought him back to Nigeria. You saw the way that they brought him into the country. Where is that agency now?
They can't work.
They can't work out. They could work when you had to do with him, bringing him back home, but they can't work in, flushing out these bandits or terrorists that are ravaging the north. These elements are ravaging the south.
You said something here, how President already passed a bill. It is where the one they have interest in, that they put in their money and their best trained personnel to execute. They don't care about people dying. They are only interested in winning an election, going to the office, occupying lucrative offices, loot as much as they want, and go. Ordinary people dying in the streets, how is it affecting them? They know you will shout, you will cry, you do whatever you want to do. They will inaugurate one committee to look into that. After 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 months, it becomes old news, stale news, and moribund. Nobody remembers anything again. So if we have government that is, conscious of any citizen's blood being sacrosanct. Do you understand my point? These things are not rocket science. They are, like I said, Prado Jeep 3 SUV killed 3 military. 5. The shotguns, bullets, gunshots were had. Do you know what? If a gunshot is going on in this road now, distance of how many kilometers, people will hear it. People will hear that, and the moment you are hearing gunshots, there will be an alarm will be raised. Some people will be like, who are those fighting? So you cannot tell me that people are around, police people, patrol people, police units,
did not hear that.
They did not hear. People did not call them and say, look, officer, they are shooting somewhere. We have gunshots somewhere. Or call military command. Error of telephone. People
I think that was what actually happened, because even some civilians, we saw some footages on social media where some civilians were being carried. They shot them. I think it was those stray bullets that some were injured, some actually died.
No, if people not within that radius can still call. Can say they had gunshot. It must not be within the range where they will see you.
Okay.
There's a gunshot on this road, and I can stay here. They are shooting at Oshodu. What is going on?
All right.
Call the nearest. So for me, it was a well planned and well executed attack on the people. If government is not, like Abacha said, there are certain things that will take place somewhere. If government is not behind it, within 24 hours they will unravel the cause of it.
All right, let's look at this. The federal government withdrew terrorism charge against Miyetti Allah's leader, Bodejo. Mr. Elvis, this question is for you. The federal government withdrew 3-count terrorism charge it entered. The federal government entered it against detained president of Miyetti Allah Kautohari, Bello Bodejo. Bodejo was arrested at the Miyetti Allah's office in Karu local government area of Nasarawa State shortly after he unveiled a vigilante group. He unveiled a vigilante group without going through due process. The federal government alleged that he established an ethnic militia in Nasarawa State, adding that he was involved in the management of activities connected with acts that were prejudicial to national security and public safety. He told the court that Bodejo provided material support, assistance and transportation for activities connected with acts of terrorism contrary to sections 29 subsection 2. Meanwhile, he has been in custody of the Defense Intelligence Agency since January 23, though the trial court had on March 22 okayed his detention. Based on an affidavit filed by the federal government, The court on May 27 refused to release the defendant on bail, though it ordered an accelerated hearing of the charge against him. However, when the case was called up, I think this was 4 days ago, for the commencement of the hearing, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, applied to withdraw the charge. A lawyer from the office of the Attorney General of the Federation, Mrs. Aderonke Imana, moved an oral application for the withdrawal of the case. Now, the federal government entered a terrorism charge against this man for committing what you call activities that you can align with terrorists, arming some militiamen within the state without authorization from the state government and the federal government. The federal government sued this man to court. He was kept in the DSS custody, and the same government, through the Attorney General of the Federation, was able to clear out all terrorism charges related cases against this man. Now, Nnamdi Kanu has been asking the court to grant him bail. All right. The reason why we're talking about this is that when we put all this out here and there seems to be imbalance, then let us critically look at these things and see and hope that if the government wants to elicit the trust of the people, then things should be done in a justifiable way. Now, the court, Nnamdi Kanu is asking the court to restore his bail, which was revoked in 2017. The motion was filed by his lead counsel. Nnamdi Kanu was granted bail on treasonable felony charges filed against him by the federal government in 2017, but the court revoked Kanu's bail and issued a bench warrant for his arrest after he failed to present himself as required. He was arrested in Kenya in 2021 after being on the run for some years. Nnamdi Kanu said that if he hadn't left at the time, that he would have been killed, that they wouldn't have even seen him in court to be present. So let me ask you, Mr. Elvis, if the Attorney General of the Federation could work, I don't know how he did it, to ensure that the terrorism charge against this Mieti Katau Haure leader was cleared, why can't that kind of resolution be extended towards Nnamdi Kanu? What exactly are the conditions that Nnamdi Kanu has not met? What kind of conversation are they supposed to have that? Because there are, a lot of critics are saying that if maybe a political solution is found, that the situation in the Southeast can be resolved. What's your take on that?
Well, it has to do with matter of interest, Esther. I mean, if the federal government has interest in your matter, they will take it up to the highest extent. We saw Showore was some time ago also arrested for treasonable fellow offense. We also saw Sunday Igbo. At the end of the day, they came up with some political or whatever and released them. So if the federal government interest in your matter is not as high as others, you are bound to get a relief from federal government. I wasn't surprised that the Mieti Alam guy was released, because I know too well that the pressure have been on the federal government. And sometimes when we are, if it was still Buhari's administration, I would have been saying because Fulani. But I want to tell you that these people, what they do is they threaten the federal government with so many things. Sometimes they tell you politically they are in charge, that if you don't do their bidding, by the next election, they know what to do. We saw some of those threats when some of the ministries were, some of the parastatals were brought back to Lagos, CBN, and some other some departments of CBN and FAN. We saw the threats. So some of those threats, cut across all sectors of the economy, whether it is through crime, whether it's from crime, whether it's from economy, whether it's from development infrastructure. They have a way of intimidating the federal government to do their bidding. So what I should be the Southeastern leaders should be doing at this moment is how to have a close rank around Nnamdi Kanu and find a way to get a political solution to what is going on. That matter will remain in the court in the next 10 years. There will be no solution to it. We saw Dasuki for over 7 years. He was incarcerated. But since Dasuki was released by Buhari's administration, have you heard Dasuki appear in court again? Everything about I'm talking about the former National Security Advisor. Have you heard his case again in the court? No. Everything about it he has nothing up. No, he has not appeared before any court of law again in Nigeria. Everything about him has been quashed. So, political solution is what the Southeasterners, the political leadership of the Southeastern states, and all the who is who and all of them should be thinking of how to, dialogue with the federal government to get Nnamdi Kanu released. So these people do some of these things on the ground. The Meti Allah man you just made mention of. Look at the thousands of men he released to the street. I saw that video that he just gave uniform to and just formed a vigilante group when the federal government was not part of it. But at the end of the day, look at what is going on now. What crime can be more than that? And you know the position of Nigerians with Meti Allah today, and Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria. You know the position between Nigeria and them. The headers, the cattle headers. Yet such person can be released. But the man who was granted bail and he said his life was being threatened, that is why he ran away. Then brought back again, and they are saying that from Supreme Court go back to High Court. Can you imagine that kind of?
Is it possible that there are perpetrators who have infiltrated this movement, utilizing the whole incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu as a means to create this political instability in the southeast and the continuous, I don't know, will I say bad light with whatever the agenda of the fight for individualism that the IPOB members are asking for? Is it possible? Because it's quite confusing when you try to understand what exactly is at play here. Who stands to benefit what? What is the gain? If at all it is indeed a federal government trying to clear out a particular region, what does the federal government intend to gain? If there are some actors who are deliberately ensuring that there is political instability in the southeast, what do they intend to gain? And if it is the people of the southeast who are doing this to themselves, what do they intend to gain? That's basically the question, because whether we like it or not is affecting everywhere. There's ethnic differences is rife post-election, and this is not helping at all. It's not making everyone to move forward. We need to move forward. There's a lot that is affecting the country, so the continuous bloodshed is not needed. So what do these elements stand to gain?
There is nothing for them to gain. It's just for them to destabilize the economic and political leadership of the Southeast. And that's why I said the leadership of the Southeastern states should come together. Since the end of the Civil War, let me tell you, Esther, the truth is that the federal government of Nigeria have not forgiven the Southeasterners since the Civil War ended. All the 3R reconciliation and all the 3R rules that came from the former the government of Yakubu Gowon, which of them was carried out after the Civil War. But these people forged ahead. They saw that even after the Civil War.
Are you saying the whole mantra of no victor, no vanquished is not realistic? It doesn't apply? That there was indeed a victor and there was a vanquished?
Absolutely. So these people, even after the humiliation of the Civil War and trying to erase the race out of Nigeria, they still forge ahead and they started surviving, and their survival has also, even as we speak, it's like the federal government Nigerian government is seeing like a kind of threat, not knowing that the more you draw these people closer, the better for this nation to move forward. Everything that we cannot do in Nigeria today, within the 3 years of the Civil War, the Southeasterners were doing it. They refined their own petrol that they use in all their logistics, both the aircraft and even the vehicle. Today, Nigeria does not have a functional refinery. We cannot refine for our own selves. But people have long done this one in 67 to 70s. If they were encouraged, do you think we would have been looking for expatriates to revive our refinery today? They were converting commercial aircraft to fighter jets. Today, if the Southeasterners were encouraged and forgiving after the Civil War, don't you think Nigeria would have been one of the countries that are producing aircraft today? Look at everything that they did throughout the Civil War. They came and just frustrated them so that everything can go. All these military armaments that we are now importing, sometimes we hear they say they are not going to sell to us. During the Goodluck Jonathan's administration, when Obama said they were not going to sell arms to Nigeria. If Nigerians have encouraged the Southeasterners, we won't go anywhere. We will have been manufacturing these things. They come to pretend and tell you that they have military local production of arms and ammunition by the military. What DICON they call it, or what they call it, that industry, defense intelligence, or the defense whatever industry.
Let's not. We need to take more calls. We need to take calls now and read on WhatsApp messages.
What he's saying is actually
it's not that. It's the fact that when we assess these things, it almost sometimes it feels like we're going, talking about the
has actually said
over and over again.
He said it over and over again. Let these people be allowed to be part of Nigeria,
or
you let them go. Because whatever you are doing to them, they are still part. They still carry Nigerian green cards everywhere they go. They are still part of Nigeria. So the earlier you embrace them fully as being fully integrated in pattern, and then they benefit whatever they can contribute. We have arable lands and people in the north, mastery of what they can do. You know, we have people in the southwest and the level of education, what they can do. These people, their technology will complement in their own aspect. And then the knowledge they have in some of the things, we are losing them. Nnamdi said it in one video, and we cannot move forward. Aja will keep on sinking and sinking and sinking because they were part and parcel of formation of this country from the beginning, from the colonial era. You can't just remove them and move forward.
All right.
Just my point. But I believe God wanted to do that, but unfortunately, he was cut short.
Mr. Elvis, in a minute, the president is I think June 12th, in let's say 2 weeks' time, will be Democracy Day. And there's been quite a lot that has been thrown at the president and his administration. But the president has said something that if we are not enjoying the dividends of democracy, if we're not feeling the effect of democracy within our communities or in some sectors that actually encompasses our economic polity, that we should hold our state governors responsible. That's what the president said. He said, ask your governors what exactly is happening. If things are not progressing in your state, ask your state governors. And some persons will say the presidency doesn't need to know everything. What would you agree with what the president is saying? We should hold the state governors responsible for some of the lack being experienced in some states.
Well, state government is a sub-regional government to the federal government. And when the subsidy was removed last year in the studio, I told you that my fear is that after the removal of subsidy, no agency was set up by the federal government to help in managing the fund that is coming from subsidy. I told you that in the studio that when Obasanjo increased the petroleum price during his regime, he removed all the toll plazas so that Nigerians could enjoy a little bit of a lower transportation. Even when Abacha brought in a petroleum tax, then he set up a petroleum trust fund to manage it. We also saw Shopee during the Goodluck Jonathan's time, Shopee. But when this present administration removed the subsidy, which agency did you hear that the federal government set up to manage the fund? And the federal government have been sharing it magnanimously with the state governors. Yes, the big question is, what is the state governors actually doing with this money? We are hearing trillions being shared every month since June last year that this subsidy matter became an issue. But look at the suffering in the respective states and the local government. I'm not surprised. What the president said to me, actually, the governors are living beyond beyond the kind of lifestyle they are living is beyond imagination of Nigerians. We should also actually ask. We should not also be looking at the federal alone. We should also actually ask the state governors, what are the state governors actually doing in their respective state? I just came back from my state, Esther. 70% of the road in my states are impassable. Even those ones that are state governors' state government's road. What are they doing about it? Look at the poverty level in most of the states. Palliative, nobody's talking about it. I think the Nigerians have actually given the right to state governors and whoever the executive to override us in what we are doing. We have to take the bull by the horn. The democracy belongs to the people, and the people must ask questions. Right. So we have been hearing trillions shared every month. What is actually happening to this trillion is the biggest question. The president is not wrong. He's talking about us knowing our right. He's speaking to our state governors in whatever language they will understand. It is time for us to speak to the state governors to do something.
All right.
But that doesn't really mean that we are going to exculpate the federal government from the whole financial crisis and the multi-dimensional poverty Nigerian people are undergoing at the moment, because the federal government sees this way, like removal of subsidy, federal government increase in NEPA tariff, federal government foreign exchange rates that have actually gone so high that affected all the prices of all the commodities in the market, federal government, and so many other things. So the multiplier effect of the action of federal government is so enormous that it trickled down the land, and every other person will be like affected. Now, some state governors are having a kind of an increased revenue. But what's the worth of naira compared to what that money you said you are paying them to what they received before?
Okay.
Okay, state governor, you are giving like 4 billion now. You're not giving him 20 billion. And you think you have increased the money. What of 4 billion, like 2022, is 20 billion now. It's 20 billion. So virtually you didn't give them any money. For me, because I have to like equate everything someone is doing with the current exchange rates. You may think that you are giving state governors more money, but compared to current prices of commodities and services and goods in the market, you have not increased.
Just like what Labour is agitating for.
I told somebody that I told some of my colleagues.
That what the
I told my colleagues now, as anybody you collected 200,000 to do a job in 2022 that is paying you 1 million is giving you the same 200,000. Don't be deceived by that nomenclature of 1 million. It's 200,000 you are still collecting.
All right.
So
okay, so let's take phone calls now.
The buck stops at the table of the president.
Please, when you call, you have a minute. All right. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. The WhatsApp number is 0817 175 6338. Let's take a minute, okay? Because we'll soon be rounding off the program, so I want to take as much calls as possible. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Hello.
Hello.
Please turn down the volume of your listening device.
Hello?
Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Are you hearing me now?
I can hear you. Good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Are you hearing me?
What is your name?
Hello.
All right, please call me back. It seems you have a situation with the network. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call, and the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Esther.
Yes, good evening. Name and location, please.
Right, this is C2 calling from Freetown, Sierra Leone.
All right, please, you have a minute. Go ahead.
Esther, this is the reason why someone like me cannot keep quiet in terms of evil that these people are doing to my people. First of all, 2 weeks ago or thereabout, 3 weeks ago, they raised this false flag of killing soldiers in Enugu. They first of all raised the false flag in Enugu, first of all, and then people will debunk it. Yes, and now I want to advise Alesoti. I think he's man enough to understand the handwriting on the wall, what they are trying to do in Abia State, and they have succeeded in doing whatever they wanted to do there, and they want to put a kind of scenario in Abia State, and he should be man enough to call DSS and the army and the police to ask them this question. Why did you ambush your men and try to put it on innocent people? As simple as ABCD. They know what they did, and our people are not blood-sucking people. Your 1
minute has been exhausted. Please.
Thank you very much. They know what they did.
All right. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. 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 You're live. Hello.
Are you hearing me?
What's your name, please? Oh, God. I don't know what's going on with the network. Please, kindly, when you call and you think we can hear you. But if you can't hear me, just go ahead and say what you want to say, please. We can't take time doing hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. All right. Good evening and welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name, please? Hello. Good evening. You're live. What's your name? All right. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. What's your name, please?
Hello.
I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Ike from First Touch.
All right, go ahead, Ike. You have a minute.
I greet our guest. He spoke well.
Thank you so much.
My only concern is that I don't know whether you listen to Evening Rush. The program is so I don't like the way you anchor. You ask question and they answer the question. You talk too much.
Who is Evening Rush? This is not Evening Rush, please. This is not Evening Rush. This is the Political Spotlight, okay? This is the Political Spotlight, not Evening Rush. All right, 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening. Hello, I can hear you. Oh, hello. All right, 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. 0700 903 903. Yes, hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, I can hear you. Please, what's your name?
Yeah, this is Mr. Emmanuel from Segmenta.
All right, Mr. Emmanuel, please go ahead. Can you speak louder? You sound very low.
My interest on the issue that is on in Abia State, because I think I agree with one of the guests that says that they ought to know where this man came from, understand? Because you can't tell me that someone will be shooting on air with the level of their security sensitivity, they won't be able to detect where something is going on. And if you look at the situation of things, the people that shot them, they are confident and the way they came, it should be something happening within the political zone. You understand?
Okay.
So for me, I think government should be careful on counting the let's say the mayhem that happened in the hearts of the people that are innocent.
All right.
And again, blaming the IPOB. IPOB did not ensure that very act, because if they do, they can be hurting their own people.
All right. Please, your 1 minute is exhausted, okay? Please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, 1 minute, all right? I do apologize if it seems that we're rushing you off, but I want us to have more calls, all right? 0700 903 903 903. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. Name and location, please.
My name is Ifeanyi from Ikorodu.
All right, Ifeanyi, go ahead.
What I want to say is about what Tinubu said. You know, in this country, the way things are going on, that's why, some people be saying that they are kind of marginalized. He said something during Akwama or whatever they call them, Ikwama. He said that the soldiers should go there, they should go there and fish out those patriots, those people that committed those acts. And they went there, burn down houses, kill many people. And now again, he's still sending the same message again to Abia State. Should go and fish out those people that they are terrorists and that they are IPOB and so on and so forth. And I have not heard him any time send soldiers to go to those villages in the north that all those Boko Haram chase out all the cities, the villagers, then take over their land, and they are collecting taxes from them. People, before they go to farm, they will pay taxes. Before they do anything, they will pay taxes. Tinubu has no one send those people to go there, to send soldiers to go there and bomb those houses, because it's no longer the citizens that are living there, the villagers that are living. Now Boko Haram people that occupy the place. The white soldier cannot go there and bomb those houses, chase those people away from there. But what they are focusing is the south and southeast. These people should if we want to be one Nigeria, they should let us know that we are in one Nigeria.
Fine, thank you. Your 1 minute has been exhausted. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. I think the general message is the fact that civilians have gotten so brazen to attack soldiers at any point in time, and he's so saying that it should be stopped completely. It should no longer continue.
And he's using the same method, which has never helped matters.
Hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name, please? All right, we've lost that connection. 0700.
They're getting the rape perpetrators. People know they cannot kill a soldier and go free.
0700 903 903 903. Let's take some of your messages. If the energy used by the president in addressing Okwama and IPOB is used in the north, Boko Haram and kidnapping would have been a thing of the past. All right, that's Harry Ogada from Pangrove. Thank you, Harry. Good evening. Wow, this is a long one. Esther, when you put water in a basket, what will be the result? The question is, for this government, what has the people benefited from them? When you're nightmare, sorrow, economic disaster. So it is important. It is a shame. All right, Dio from Fagba, your messages are so long. There are those who do not expect from this, so they shall not be disappointed. It's a shame that the worst of us is really the best of us. Please try to make your messages as concise as possible. Look at what the main problem we're facing here is in Nigeria is that intelligence is dead in this country. So Nigeria have to come up with intelligence capacity. And this is from Chinemere from Agbara. Look at what is happening in the north, where people die in their numbers and also kidnap people in their numbers and disappear without being traced. This can't happen in a country where there's sincere intelligence. And this is still from Chinemere from Agbara. Thank you, Chinemere, for that particular message. Good evening, Esther, and the guests in the studio. I want to use this medium to condemn the killing of innocent soldiers who were killed in Abia a few days ago. May their souls rest in perfect peace. However, I disagree with the guests, with you and the guests that IPOB are being wrongfully named. This is not the first time that either IPOB or ESN has been captured in viral videos enforcing sit at home in the East and even killing innocent Igbos. So what's the difference in this? These unscrupulous people are killing people in uniform without minding if they are their kinsmen. No be today now. If this persists, the evil government will only be posting Igbo's uniformed men to the East. Baruwa Sahid. All right, Baruwa. Although towards the end of this message, I really did not understand, but thank you for your message. Good evening, Esther. Okay, the same Baruwa. I ask again, what investigation was conducted by the military or Tinubu to prove the alleged killing was done by IPOB? It was his tweet today, and it smelled of ethnic bigotry. Unfounded accusations. The government should be blamed because they are the enablers of the chaos in the country. We're in a sane society with the government and security agencies to kill citizens for protesting. In a sane society with the citizens kill soldiers. In a sane society where the soldiers go about killing residents, bandits in the name of reprisal instead of getting lawful agencies to investigate. Okay, this is from who? You didn't write your name. Please, next time when you send messages, always put your name. It's important for you to put your name when you send messages like this. All right, please make sure you put your name when you send messages. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Kindly turn down your listening device. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, please?
Esther, good evening. It's Joe from Bariga.
All right, Joe.
Esther, I want to brief you a little.
Right.
Esther, my brother was kidnapped.
When?
He was going to Okigwe last December.
Wow.
Those people, they carried 3 jeeps. So anybody they catch, they throw inside the jeep. Anybody they catch, they throw inside the jeep. So my brother was, unfortunately, he couldn't enter the jeep because the jeep is full already. So they have to throw him away. So when he came back, we are looking for him, and then the news came to us. So Esther, in between that Anambra and Okigwe Aziz Abia State, this criminal gang, they call themselves the government. They are very wicked.
What? And
whenever you kill any one of them, you will see something like a IPOB flag. So this is a very big evidence. It's not just say nothing. Very big, strong criminal gang within that bordering Anambra, Okigwe, and then Abia State.
Wow.
So they patrol, kidnap people, do all sorts of nonsense. So confirm this thing I'm telling you. And they go with jeep, kidnapping people. If you see my brother, they fooled that jeep, they were 3. After they fooled that jeep, they threw up my brother away because he could not enter that jeep. So they should patrol in between these areas I'm talking. They are causing a lot of mayhem within these zones. So, very serious.
So you're saying these individuals, they carry out this mayhem and they fly the flag of IPOB? Wow. All right. You know, you were saying earlier that there are some persons who are actually having some political inclinations with conducting this mayhem in the southeast. Can you hear what this caller is saying that happened? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's your name, please, and location?
My name is Gabriel.
Your name is?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. All right, Gabriel, please go ahead. You have a minute.
Well, I disagree with the government of the IPOB. No Igbo man will bring out his SUV out on that year. Everybody knows that. Thank you.
All right, 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. The WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, what's your name, please? Name and location.
Hello, yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, Abdul Rashid is calling from Isolo.
All right, please go ahead. You have a minute.
Concerning the issue of the southeast.
Yes.
I think. Hello.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
I think the southeast elders and let me say their political elders need to come into a conclusion on how they need to resolve the issue politically.
Okay.
Because when you look at what is going on in the southeast and in the north, you consider the fact that the north are using that their political calculation to their advantage. Like that's again my point. Yeah. Hello.
Go ahead. I can hear you.
No, what's happening in the north now? Even before the end, it is something that you can calculate from the inception, and this is what is going to happen at the end, because they are using that political power to their advantage very, very, very well. So now for the southeast, to me personally, you can't, let me say, the southeastern too, themselves, are they, like people are saying that the Nigerian government are not taking them along. Their people themselves, are they taking their, do they...
Your 1 minute has been exhausted. I'm sorry. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And then the WhatsApp number is 0817175638. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
I want to say something.
What's your name, please? What's your name?
I'm Sunday by name. I'm Sunday calling from Casablanca.
Okay, Sunday, is it possible for you to come closer to your phone? Because you sound far away from...
Yeah. Sorry, let me wind up. I'm on stereo. So,
hello?
What I want to say, yes, I'm already close to my phone.
All right.
What I want to say regarding the issue in the south.
Sunday, you still sound far. Please come closer to your phone, please. Yes, good.
Okay, can you hear me better
Yes,
now?
it's better now.
Oh, good. So what I want to say regarding the happenings in Southeast. You see, before 2015, Southeast was relatively peaceful, I mean to say. Then come with Buhari's inauguration, and he arrested Nnamdi Kanu. In fact, the truth is that most of us doesn't know who is Nnamdi Kanu before 2015. Do you agree with me? Majority of us. Then in 2015, Buhari made him popular by arresting him on flimsy charges that doesn't make any single sense. And he was detained, sent to Federal High Court. I think one of the judges, who is a Yoruba man, I forget his name, he discharged and acquitted him.
That was in 2017.
To allow him go. Thank you. Yeah, 2017. Yeah, refused to allow him go. Then they turned him from one judge to another, until he get to Justice John Soho, a man I think either from Benue or somewhere there in the Middle Belt. Justice John Soho tried his best to jail Nnamdi Kanu, but there was no sufficient evidence. That was treason, felony, and all that for having importing a radio equipment. Things that doesn't make sense in reality. At the end of the day, they gave him one of the strangest bail ever in Nigeria. 300 million, surety of this, a senator, and this and that and the other one. Not granting interview to press, not being in public, a lot of things that doesn't make sense in reality. But we condone all that. It keep happening. But along that time that he was detained, his followers, those who believe in his message, who reason with him, we are busy marching peacefully on the road without no arm, no machete, nothing. What happened to them?
All right.
The body simulated to descend on them.
All right, so your 1 minute has been exhausted. Thank you for calling.
I want to say one small thing, just a little bit. In conclusion, the crisis of the Southeast was well orchestrated by Buhari administration. Take it from me. I know what I can sum up to that. That's what I believe. Him and his security agent well orchestrated it. It's a well orchestrated to
all right. Thank you. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. I can hear you. Good evening.
Yes, what's your name? You need to project. I can't hear you very well. You sound low. You said Ndubisi from Oshodi?
Yeah.
All right, Ndubisi, you have a minute, please.
Okay. The simple truth that is there is that the Hausa and the Yoruba...
Ndubisi, you sound very faint. Like, I really can't make out what you're saying. Can you kindly call back, please? Okay, good evening, Auntie Esther. My name is Samuel Eto. Nigerian shoulders should tread with caution. Delta State is not Abia State. Did you join us from the beginning of this conversation like this? All right. Evening, Esther. I don't know why you're editing my messages. We can see the zeal and determination of our army to clear that village in Delta, now Abia State. Also, we can recall the NSALs where innocent youth were massacred in Lekki. The evidence wiped off. We have IDPs around the country because of people who were attacked and displaced due to insecurities. Since 2015 till now, we haven't seen such zeal and determination to wipe out bandits and Boko Boko Haram in the north. All right, Daya from Fagba. Daya, I'm not editing your messages, but I have to be careful with some of the things that you write and say it out on this platform. Secondly, your messages are so long. Please make them as concise as possible. All right. Hello. All right, we've lost that connection. Barrister Jane Wokedi, please, in a minute, can you summarize? How do we move forward from this? How do we stop this ethnic rivalry? How do we stop these political differences? It should be a collective thing for all of us since we're one united Nigeria. How do we make sure that that one united Nigeria transmits across every region?
It's by the way the government conducts activities and projects and programs. You know, like issues we have raised here now. Issue of Sunday Boho that was also championing Yoruba Nation. Issue of Oshowore that was charged for treasonable offense. The Sanho Badejo that was actually launched illegal and unlawful military and everything. They've all been granted bail. And then one person has actually been kept there.
Okay.
How do you think that people interpret it? Okay. It may always tell us, you know, in the criminal parlance, the government will choose whom to prosecute or whom not. But equity must show transparency, fairness, and justice. If they are not there, people will always bring in their own level of interpretation that will suit the situation and then go ahead with that. So government must carry itself and our activities in a way that will not only demonstrate but exhibit fairness, equity, and justice in whatever they do.
Thank
and
you
also,
so much.
They should not be engaging in something suspicious
All right.
at all.
All right. Mr. Elvis, in a minute, please, what do you have to say in summary to the most of the conversation that we've had?
Aba must not be turned to a battleground.
Okay.
Because we are proud of what is going on in Abia State, what Governor Alex Oti is doing.
Okay.
And Aba will be the commercial net center of the southeastern states. And again, the Nigeria government must try as much as possible to empower the Nigeria police force. This one that the military is being deployed to the street to do the job of the police is breaking down the integrity of the Nigeria army. We saw the Kwama, we saw the Banex Plaza issue last week in Abuja, and again now we are seeing what just happened in Aba. There are too many civilian crises with Nigeria military. Military is not meant for this. The police should be strengthened to do their job and let the military face their constitutional right, their constitutional duty to the nation.
Mr. Elvis, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Elvis Elimihele across all social media platforms. Barrister Jane Wokedi across all social media platforms. Esther Wachuku on Twitter. Esther Nwaz on Instagram. And of course, Estic Media on YouTube. That's ESTIQMEDIA. Thank you for being part of this conversation. Let's strive to work together. Let's be one Nigeria. I think that should be the mantra. All right. Have yourself a good evening.